Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today I'm going to be walking you through the editing process for one of my videos. I'm actually broadcasting live right now, so what's up to everyone in chat? We're going to be mainly focusing on what I'm going to be doing on screen here today, and then this is going to be uploaded afterward as an archive, so if people are going to want to go back and watch and learn how to edit videos and go through step by step and be able to pause, then they'll be able to. But for right now, it's going to be live, so we're going to try to do this whole thing in one take. I mean, I guess
All right, here we go.
whoa. Look at that. We already have our first mistake. I already heard back my own audio, so that was the first mistake right there on stream. But we're going to go ahead and get right into it now. I'm going to be editing a video about Windows 10 and issues that it's having with SLI and NVIDIA and drivers updating automatically. So that's what the video topic is for today, and that's going to be uploaded tomorrow. But we're going to go ahead and get started right now. So first thing I have up here, I have this is Sony Vegas Pro 12. So that's basically what everything I'm going to be teaching you today is going to be taking place inside Sony Vegas. I might do Adobe in a future video, but right now I'm not familiar enough with it that I feel like I should be giving advice on it. So I'm going to hold off on that because I'm still learning Adobe myself. But I've been using Sony Vegas for over a year now. It's a really good intermediate editing software. If you're starting out and you're looking to move on from like something like Movie Maker, then it is a good program. I actually talked about my top 5 tips for how to improve your YouTube channel on a video yesterday. So if you want to go back, you can check that out and see my top 5 tips. But today we're going to be focusing just on editing. So first I'm going to go ahead, since I've already got Vegas 12 up, I need to get my files in here that I'm going to need to work with. And over here on the left side behind where you're seeing my image right now, that's where you put your files. So some of that's going to be covered up, but it's not going to be a big deal because it's just where my files go. Everything else you'll be able to see just fine. So I'm going to drag a file in here. This is a video file that I already recorded this video. I've got my audio and everything for this, and then I've also got a quick start folder. This is something that I recommend doing. This is basically a folder that I have things in that I use repeatedly, like my intro, outro music, stuff like that. My overlays. So if it's something I use often, I just put it in this quick start folder, and then at the beginning of the editing process, I could just go ahead and grab whatever I need. So right here, I've got my outro music, I've got my intro video, and I've got my Joker Productions overlay. But these outros are actually, they're all outdated, so I'm not going to be using those in this video. I'm going to update the outro towards the end of this video with some of the newer videos on it, so that'll be coming a little bit later on towards the end of this video. But I've got my files in here, my quick start files. I've got my video file. Now I need to get my audio. So the first thing I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to show you how I edit my audio and get it ready for being actually in here, because I recorded my audio on Audacity. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the file here. This is the audio that I recorded earlier when I was recording the video. So basically I recorded the video on my camera and I had Audacity going at the same time, which is connected to my microphone right here. So now I've got my audio file. This is all of my audio, but it needs to get cleaned up a little bit because it's not perfect. Even though I turn off my air conditioner, it still picks up some background noise from time to time. So right here, you could see what I'll usually do at the end when I'm done talking is I'll leave like 5 to 10 seconds of just dead air, just try not to make any noise so that it picks that up. And I'll play it here, and hopefully you guys can hear a little bit maybe. So it's pretty quiet. There's really not much there at all. But just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and remove any excess background noise from this, even though you're not really seeing a lot of waveforms there. You might have a noisier situation. Maybe someone is vacuuming in the background, in which case you could definitely use this technique to remove that noise from the background, or if you had an air conditioner going, a fan, something like that, if you forgot to turn it off before you started filming. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this area here because it's just a blank spot, and I'm going to go up to Effect and Noise Removal. And then I'm going to click, I'm going to click Get Noise Profile. And that's just basically going to collect the data from that area so that it now knows that whatever's in that area, that's background noise. So that's the stuff I want to remove from the entire track. So now I'm going to press Control A, or you could just double click it anywhere and it'll highlight the whole thing. Now we're going to go back to Effect and Noise Removal, and we're going to hit OK again. And it's going to process, and it's going to remove all of that, any excess noise from like what was in that area from the rest of it. And now in that area, it'll basically be dead silent, and you won't hear anything at all. So that's how that works. That's the first effect. That's the first thing I do when I get in here to edit. These are actually my my clap-on points for when I come in so that I could sync up audio with the video, and I'll show you that when we get back into Vegas in just a minute. But now I've got to do a couple more effects here in Audacity that I always do. Some of these are going to be very specific to my voice and the way that I want my videos to sound. So you really got to kind of mess with this and find what suits your voice best. But I'll show you the effects that I use here. The first thing I do after doing the noise removal is I normalize the track That's going to help bring the waveforms in just a little bit tighter. Then I'm going to go to EQ, or the equalization, and I'm going to do a bass boost because I like to get that really nice, boomy broadcaster type voice in there. So I do that, do a little bass boost on the EQ, and then we're going to have to normalize it one more time to tighten up those waveforms. And then finally, I do two more things in here. I do compressor, and the only thing I touch in here is the threshold. It's at -18. It's already saved in there because that's what I have it set to. So I keep that at -18. Go ahead and do that on the whole track. That's probably one of the slowest things it does. And then you see it just got a whole lot louder. Those waveforms got way taller in there. So the last thing I do now is a hard limiter. And I usually do -4, and I find that works the best because you'll see some of these waveforms here are going to be peaking a little bit too high. Some of these things are going to be a little bit too high, but most of it is all really tight in here all together, which is what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and do -4 and hit OK. And then that's just going to trim the top off those waveforms and keep everything nice and tight and uniform. So now you see a lot of the waves basically, you know, even though my voice may have been changing volume a little bit, it's pretty tight all the way across. So it's going to be a consistent audio file. And this is basically done now. I'm just going to go ahead and export it. I'm going to do File, Export Audio, and I always do it as a WAV file or WAV file, whatever you want to call it, because that's going to give you the most lossless audio that you can get for rendering out an audio file, and it's called Windows 10 Issues because that's the topic of the video for today. I'm going to go ahead and save that, hit OK, and it's going to process it as a wave in my file location, and now I can go ahead and close out of Audacity. Now, I'm not going to save this, just in case I made a mistake or something like that, and I need to come back in later and start over from scratch. I can do that. So now I've got my audio file right here, Windows 10 issues.wave. I'm going to go ahead and drag that in right there. So I'm going to take this window now and drag this off screen. We're not going to need that anytime soon. So I'm just going to put my files off of screen. And first thing I got to do is I got to get my intro in here. So I'm going to drag my intro down, which you can see up here. This is just all my files up here. And there's a couple things hidden behind my window where you're seeing me speaking, as I said, but that's really not a big deal. It's just files. So I've got my intro there. I'm going to bring down my video file of me as well. I'm going to put it right next to it so that you can see we've got a nice long thing in there. And I'm also going to grab the audio file and I'm going to drag it down, but I'm going to drag it down to below the other audio track, so right up to the beginning right there. Now you can see this is obviously way longer than that. We need to get that audio synced up, which is why I have these spikes right here in the beginning. And basically what that is when I start up my camera and my audio software, I'll give myself an audible cue so that I could sync it up later a lot easier. I just go like this. Just give it 2 claps, and I hit my mic there. I just give it 2 claps, and then I could sync that up later on. So I'm just going to go ahead right here. Just click there first, just on this audio track. I'm going to hit S, and that's going to split it because this is garbage. I don't need any of this, so I'm just going to delete that with the delete key. Just press delete, and then I'm going to drag this over towards the beginning. And you can see this is already looking like it's going to match up pretty close. I'm just going to have to move these a little bit closer. So what I'm going to do is basically, you can zoom in with your mouse wheel. So you can just zoom your mouse wheel up and down. It'll zoom in wherever you have this line at. So if I click over here, it's going to zoom in there. If I have it over here, it's going to zoom in over there. So I'm just going to click there. I'm going to zoom in and get really close. So now you can see this here. This is my audio from my video file. This here is the audio that I recorded on my Audio Technica mic. So that's obviously going to be better than the audio from my DSLR. DSLR microphones are not good, so I obviously want to use my Audio Technica mic audio, so I'm going to get that really close in here, as close as I can. Go ahead and get that like right about there, which will be good. You go ahead, we'll see, we'll play it back. And you see it matched up pretty good there. And you can hear how loud that background noise is. That's the DSLR because of how terrible it sounds. I'll give you guys a comparison here. Let you guys hear this. Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today is July 28th, 2015, and we are on the eve of the release of Windows 10. So you can see there, that's the DSLR audio. That's obviously not good. So I'm going to go ahead and mute this track. This is a mute button here. It's just muting that whole track. You can do that for video also. If you ever had to mute a video track, you can mute it with that button right there. I'm going to go ahead and unmute the audio from my microphone now, though, and we're going to listen to that instead and see how much better that sounds. Hey, what's up, guys? Joker here. Today is July 28th, 2015, and we are on the eve of the release of Windows 10 2. So there you can see that sounds a hell of a lot better. So that's obviously going to be the one that we're going to use. And I'm going to take the audio from my intro, and I'm actually going to drag it down into this row here so that it's in line with that, because I actually did this all in one take, so I don't have separate files there for the video. So I can actually delete this whole row now. I don't need this row anymore at all. So if I just click on this box over here that has all of our tools, I could just hit delete, and then that whole row is gone. But for now, going forward in the future, we want to make sure any of our edits are actually done on both of these tracks, and since I introduced that audio separately, they're not going to be grouped together. So if I were to make an edit or a cut, a split here, if I hit S, you can see it just splits the video track. It doesn't split the audio as well. So what we got to do is, first I'm going to hit Control Z to get rid of that edit, because that was a mistake. So press Control Z to get rid of that. So to combine these two tracks, now that I know that they're lined up well, I'm just going to click the top track. I'm going to hold Control and click the audio track, and then I'm going to go ahead and press G on my keyboard. And that's going to group those tracks together. So now you can see if I do a split with my S key, it splits both tracks, so now it's good to go. That's garbage. I don't need that. And now we can go ahead and actually get into the editing. So I don't always get everything done in the first take. Sometimes I have to do multiple takes. So right now I'm going to try to find the last, hey, what's up guys, Joker here, and then I know that that's the official take that actually went well. But the issue I have to so that's not it. Hey, what's up guys? That's going to be it. That's the last one that I did. All of these are all bad takes. Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Windows 10 being as it... So you can see there I stumbled over my words. So that was a bad take. We're not going to use that. Okay, so this is the good take though right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and back... My mouth is already open there, so I'm looking kind of stupid. I'm going to go ahead and back that up just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and hit S to split that track. Click on this, delete it because I don't need it anymore. Zoom out a little bit by moving my mouse wheel down, and then we could bring this over to the intro. And I'm going to click over here and zoom in. And then you'll see here I've got a bunch of blank space here at the beginning before I start talking, but there is some motion there. You can see my mouth like opening, so I kind of want that to be in there. But I also want this to fade together. Now, instead of using just a regular crossfade, I'm just going to drag this file together with the other one and try to get it to 10. I like to use it at about 0.10. I usually find that to be a good amount. And my intro is actually also relatively loud, so I need to go ahead and drag this down. I usually do this by about 8 decibels, but that's specific to me because my intro is kind of loud, so I just always drag that down by -8 decibels. And now we can go ahead and start here and watch the intro. Hey, what's up guys? Joker here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about Windows 10, seeing as it is July 28th today and we are on the eve of the release of Windows 10 finally. They're on build 10.240 right now, which is essentially the RTM release of Windows 10, although Microsoft doesn't want us to call it the RTM release, but it is, and we all know it is, so just calm down, Microsoft, and get over it. Okay, so that's that right there. Gonna go ahead and back it up just a little bit to where I finished. I said get over it, but I kind of want some of that motion to be in there. Over it. How's that right there? I'm going to go a little bit more forward than that. Yeah, that'll good. That's going to transition well into the next bit, which is what? But the issue I have to talk about today... All right, so let's make sure that this is all one long ass take here. And then what did I go to here? In some way to help address this issue. Okay, that was like the end of that point. So this is all one big block of me just talking here. So I actually got most of this done in one straight take. So I actually don't have to do like a ton of editing on this video, which is always good because that means I got everything on. But the issue I have to talk. But so we want to get that at a good starting point, but not too early. Go ahead and split it there. I'm going to delete that bit that I don't need anymore. And the split key, just so you know, S. It's always S. I use S. That's what's splitting and editing the tracks and cutting it right in that point right there. So I've gone ahead and I split the track. I'm going to go ahead and bring this together. Now you can see I've got a little bit of blank audio space here, some blank audio space here. So it's not just a massive jump cut. I'm going to just blend these together a little bit. So there's a little bit of a blend there. Get over it. But the issue I have to talk about today is the automatic updates that is being forced in Windows 10. As it is right now, all updates on Windows 10 are forced. You don't have an option to opt out of them, and if you were to hack it in some way and disable them, then you would get eventually cut off by Microsoft from being able to apply new security updates. So it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of end in sight into this issue. The big issue is right now the automatic updates are clashing with other updates. So if you are running something like NVIDIA GeForce Experience that has automatically updated your video drivers to the latest NVIDIA release, then Microsoft would also try to put out that release to update your drivers as well, and then that driver is clashing with the actual one from NVIDIA, and that's causing a lot of problems right now for NVIDIA users. I've actually experienced this in the past when I first installed Windows 8 on my old PC. It was actually automatically updating the drivers, and I had to go in and tweak the setting manually so that it never updated any of my hardware drivers on its own automatically, but that they just notified me about all of my normal Windows updates. I'm not a fan of letting anyone automatically update anything on my system. I don't like something happening on my computer without me knowing about it, because then that makes it that much harder to troubleshoot later on. You know, if you're having an issue, you're like, oh, well, did you update this? It was like, well, no, I have everything on automatic, so I don't know what updated. That's why I like to have, you know, control over every single driver on my PC and update what I want as I need to, as sometimes some drivers will break things, make them worse, so I just like to be selective about my drivers, and I'm not a big fan of this whole automatic driver update that Microsoft is implementing here in Windows 10, and I really think that they need to go out and think about this and think about what they're doing and the impact that it's going to have on their users. People like us, you know, hardcore PC users and power users, you know, we'll probably be able to figure out ways to work around this. You know, you could, you know, disable GeForce Experience from automatic updating and disabling everything else from automatically updating, but your normal casual user isn't going to always be able to do that. Things like printers update automatically all the time, so having something like that could then clash with Windows, and then people's printers might stop working. Right now, we're seeing the biggest issue is centered around NVIDIA, and that's kind of at the forefront, and that's why I'm talking about it today, because I know a lot of you guys are gamers out there watching this, and you may be looking to update to Windows 10 tomorrow. So all I'm saying is be cautious, because right now, I'm going to hold off on updating until I know that this issue is ironed out, or someone has found a workaround or fix in some way to help address this issue. All right, so there we go. Okay, so that was a nice, big, long-winded speech. Let's find a nice, good endpoint on that. Help address this issue. Right, basically right before my eyes close. As soon as, right before my, I'm just going to go frame by frame. All right, there we go. There's my eyes closing, and that's where I'm going to edit it. That's where it looks good to me. I think these were a couple of mistakes, but we'll watch them back and see what happens. Another issue happening with this now is actually with... Another issue with the automatic updates is with SLI. It's actually seeing it as two video cards and trying to update another. Okay, and this is actually the end of the video here, this last bit, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom there. Let's see if that's a good start point. Another issue with Windows. Yeah, that's a good enough spot. I'm going to go ahead and put a split there. What did I just do? Oh, I hit X. That mutes it. My bad. I accidentally hit X on my keyboard and I muted it. So I can go ahead and delete this track out now because I don't need that anymore. And we're going to go ahead and bring these together. And just like before, we're going to go ahead and click over here and zoom in. And we're going to find a little bit of negative space just so we don't have a massive jump cut. And then it'll look good. Press this issue. Another issue with Windows 10 right now is actually clashing with SLI. Right there, so what it's doing when it's trying to automatically update for one video card is it's actually seeing two cards in the system and trying to update the drivers twice, once for each graphics card in the system, or if you had 4 graphics cards, once for each of the 4 graphics cards. So that's causing issues as well with SLI. It's also causing issues with multi-monitor users, people that have dual monitors, triple monitors. Most of the complaints I've seen is about dual monitors, where the second screen will stop working or just won't come on at all, and then people are having issues booting into Windows, and they have to, you know, go back to the Windows 10 like emergency screen and do like a fresh install or roll back to Windows 8.1. So there's a lot of issues right now, it seems, with Windows 10, especially considering SLI and NVIDIA users. So if you're either one of those, or if you're using, you know, multiple monitors, then that could be an issue for you as well. And I'm sure a lot of my viewers out there are either SLI users or multiple monitor users, as we're all kind of hardcore PC gamers. So definitely be cautious about updating to Windows 10. Keep an eye out on this issue. I'm going to have a link down in the description below to the Forbes article where they discuss this entire thing at length. So go ahead, check that out. And if you guys enjoyed this video, or if you learned something new, then please go ahead and stick a thumbs up on it down below. And beware of Windows 10, guys. Just, you know, keep an open mind. I'm kind of excited about some of the changes for Windows 10. I'm keeping an open mind about it, but I'm also being cautious because of these issues we are having early on with the software. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now, guys, and I'll catch you next time. Ta-ra. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Boom, split it, end it, delete it. Now, I am going to add some extra stuff into this overlay, because otherwise, if I did it just like this, it would be informative, but it would be kind of boring. So I'm going to add some extra stuff in at the end in just a minute. But I got to get my files up here now because I have a video in my archive from yesterday's video. Let's see, where is it? What was yesterday's video? Yeah, the top 5 tips, right? Top 5, there it is. Okay, so I'm bringing in my top 5 video from yesterday because I need to get my outro from it because I've been too lazy to update my outro and just have a file dedicated to it. So here I'm just going to go ahead and remove the outro from this. Up right there, boom, boom. Go frame by frame, and boom, right there. And split it. Delete the rest because I don't need that. Bring the outro over here. And I also got to remove this audio because I'm going to put in new clean audio because otherwise it's going to be cut off at an on spot right there, and it's not going to blend in with my other audio track when I give my ta-ra. So I'm going to click on this audio bit right here. I'm going to click U, which is going to ungroup it. If you remember before, I grouped tracks together, the video and audio track. Now I'm going to press U, which is going to ungroup it. So I'm going to press U. That's going to then ungroup the audio from this, and if I press delete, it's going to get rid of just the audio. Then I'm going to bring out my audio music, my outro music here, which is called Deception. I'm going to split it there because I don't need that extra bit of silence at the end. And then I'm just going to drag it to the end right here. And then outro.
And I'll catch you next time. Ta-ra.
Okay, so that's good right there. Now we need to do a couple, there's other little finishing touches we need to do on this. I need to go ahead and insert a video track for right here. And this is for my overlay. So my overlay I'm going to bring up right about to the beginning. Almost to the beginning. I'm going to go a little bit in right here, and then I'm going to grab it up by the corner right here, and I'm going to drag it over, and that's what that's going to do is make it fade in, and I usually like to do it by about 10. So just drag the corner over there to 10, and then boom, then that'll fade in. And then I'm going to go ahead and slide this all the way over. Go ahead and zoom out here so it goes quicker. So that's there now all the way throughout the entire video track. I just put it there. That's basically just a transparent PNG that I put there, so it does an overlay of the video. So I'm going to go back here now, zoom out, and you can see it's all the way throughout the entire thing. And it doesn't need to fade out at the end because it's just going to go right to the outro.
Ta-ra.
Just like that, and it's going to be good. But there are a couple other things I have to add in here, some finishing touches. I have some video footage that I recorded on OBS. That is the news story that I was referencing in this, which is this, I believe. Yeah, it's this. Right here, I don't need the audio for it, so we can go ahead and remove the audio track. We're just going to find... Close out of that. That's where I started showing it. Alright, so let's go ahead and split there. Boom, and let's find a good spot here in this when I'm talking about it.
But the issue I have to talk about today is the automatic updates that is being forced in Windows 10.
Okay, so right there is about a good spot. Good point for reference. I'm going to go ahead and roll this in here at about 15-ish and pull it back and watch that in. Watch that
forced
roll in.
In Windows 10. As it is right now, all updates on Windows 10 are forced. You don't have an option to opt out of them, and if you were to hack it in some way and disable them, then you would get eventually cut off by Microsoft.
All right, so that's where that ends right there. That's good. Split that. And then I had this like running for ages before I actually did the second part. Yeah, this is the second part here. Boom. Delete that. That's garbage. Don't need it. Play this back. And that's the end of the news story there. So I could split that, cut that out, bring this over here. It's just a point of, it's just basically a point of reference to show people the article I'm talking about, and I'm going to crossfade those and play it back and see how that looks.
The automatic updates that is being forced in Windows 10. As it is right now, all updates on Windows 10 are forced. You don't have an option to opt out of them, and if you were to hack it in some way and disable them, then you would get eventually cut off by Microsoft from being able to apply new security updates. So it doesn't really seem like there's a lot of end in sight into this issue. The big issue is right now the automatic updates are clashing with other...
And I've got to fade that out. That's the last thing I got to do on that. Just going to go ahead and fade this out by dragging in from the corner. And then that's going to be faded out. And then we're pretty much done. I mean, that's the whole video there. That's basically ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and save real quick. I'm also going to go ahead and also disable resampling, which is something I definitely recommend if you're doing gameplay. If you're editing gameplay and you ever render it out and then it looks all like pixelated and messed up, then it's probably because you have resampling on. So the way to get rid of that is I'm going to come here, I'm just going to press Control A. That's going to highlight everything, but I need to deselect my audio. So I'm just going to hold down Control on my keyboard and then click my audio tracks so that those are not selected. And then I'm going to right click on any of the video tracks and it'll apply to all the ones that are highlighted. Right click, switches, and disable resampling. So that's something I just do on all my videos. But if you're doing gameplay, definitely use disable resampling, because otherwise you're going to get some pixelated renders back when you're done with it there. And I'm going to go ahead and save now there. And I'm also going to be ready to render it, but I have to render it when I go off stream. But I am going to show you guys my render settings, and then I'm going to also show you quickly how I do my thumbnails. So I'm going to come up here to my render settings, which I'm going to go to File, Render As. Now I've already got my pre-made custom ones in here, but it's under Main Concept, AVC, AAC, this is a MP4. This is what I use for 60 FPS. Actually, Jack Frag 60 FPS settings that he had recommended to me. But this is my custom template that I use right here for 30 FPS video files, like the one I'm doing here today. So if I open up Customize Template, you can see that there. And what I'll actually go ahead and do is, after uploading this, I'm going to screenshot this. I'll screenshot all these tabs so you guys can see them and be able to copy them if you want to. So I'm going to just quickly go through these here. And if you want, you can pause and check them out. If not, after this video is uploaded, I will have the screenshots linked down in the description. But that's all of my settings there. Just doing 1920 by 1080 at 30 FPS. 24 million maximum BPS, and I also do a 2-pass. I do that because sometimes if I just do a single pass, I might get some like pixelation on transitions and it'll look messed up. So I do a 2-pass method, which basically means it goes through and checks all the files first before actually rendering it. It winds up taking twice as long. But I'd rather do it like that and have it take twice as long than have it mess up and look ugly later on. So I just do the 2-pass method, and I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of there. And basically, once you have those all set up, you're just going to go ahead and hit it and then hit render, and then you're good to go. Because I'm streaming live right now, obviously I can't do this because it uses 99% of my CPU when I do it, and it would like literally melt faces. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that now, and I'm going to show you guys how I do my thumbnails, and that'll be the finishing touch for this video before we go ahead and get out of here. So first I got to go ahead and open up paint.net, and I got to find my image file that I have for this, which I already have saved, and it's on my file window on the other screen. I'm going to just drag it in here like this, and I'm just going to do add layer, and it doesn't really matter that it's like a little bit blurry. It's okay because it's going to be a thumbnail. At the end of the day, it's not really that big of a deal. And I'm going to go ahead and remove this background. I don't need that. And now I've got this. I'm going to go ahead and resize it because it's going to be, this is way too big. Right now, as it stands, the resolution on this image is 5184 by 2916, so it's a 5K image. So that's really, really way too high res. YouTube does have a limit on the maximum file size for your thumbnails, so I'm going to go ahead and resize this down to 1280 by 720. Now, I've actually already done this thumbnail, which is up for this video now, but I'm just going to be redoing it again so that I could show you guys what I do. I'm going to go ahead here and add a layer. So that's going to have a separate layer on top of this. So if I ever make a mistake on it, I don't need to go back all the way to the beginning. Every time you're starting something new in Paint.net, do a new layer. If you're doing a new block of text, just do a new layer. Trust me, if you don't do new layers for each new thing, you're going to make mistakes, and then later on you're going to mess up, and you're going to be like, God damn it, why didn't I just create a new layer and listen to Joker? So create the new layer. Now we're going to come over here, we're going to click the text. The font I'm going to be using for this is called Keep Calm. So I'm going to come down here to Keep Calm. All my fonts, by the way, I get from dafont.com. That's DAFONT.com. It's a good selection of free fonts that you can download and use. Really good website. And I'm going to go over here to about 192 font size, and I'm going to go to Caps Lock. I'm not sure if that's going to be too big. Yeah, that's going to be too big. I'm going to go ahead and trim it down to 108. And I'm just going to go how to edit videos. Just like that. Simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I'm going to try 144. That's too big. I'm going to try tweaking it down to 130. Nope. Let's try 120. Perfect. All right, so that's there. And I'm going to go ahead and change the color of this now. I'm just going to go ahead and drag this over here to a nice bright color, nice bright green. So that's good right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just click off of this if I can actually find my cursor. Add a layer there, then just come back to this, and I'm going to paint bucket. I'm going to paint bucket like a pink color onto any of these letters here. That's a good, actually, that's a good pink. Otherwise, I would have gone ahead and dragged this around to find a good one, but I like that one right there. And I think that's good right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply that to all of these extra letters so that I have a two-tone sort of theme going on with the font. It makes it stand out a little bit more when people are looking at thumbnails. It's just a technique I've learned. And then the last thing I got to go ahead and do to this is I got to go to my effects, object, and outline object. I'm going to make that black, and then the width I'm going to do on it is I'm going to do a 5. That should be good enough. That's going to help the letters stand out from the background and just put a nice border around them. And that's going to be a good thumbnail right there. And people are going to see that it's going to stand out, and they're going to instantly know what it is, how to edit videos. Boom. Done. Then you would just basically save this as a JPEG. Otherwise, the file might be too big as a PNG. And I'll just put it over here. It's extra how to, because I already did one earlier that I'm happy with, so just going to go ahead and save that as a JPEG, hit OK, and then flatten. And then boom, that's it. Done. That's the thumbnail done. That's the video done and edited. So I'm pretty much done there now, guys. So I'm going to get out of here now. This is going to be uploaded afterward as an archive, like I said. So, yep, this will be up on the channel, and you guys will be able to watch it back. If you guys need help, you know, editing videos, be sure to ask down in the comments below, and I'll try to answer as many of you as I can if you come into any issues with what I've done here in this video. And the video I edited now is going to be uploaded soon, so that'll be on the channel. In case you guys were in the stream watching, you'll be able to see the finished product afterwards. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here now, guys, so I'll catch you next time. Ta-ra.